Welcome back to another episode of Sports Wrap with me, Agatha.
And me, Naveen.
And today we're going to talk about, of course, the latest and the best things in sport. And we're in the middle of our NCAA and UAAP journeys. It's almost peaking, actually, and that's so exciting. But before that, let's talk about the international sports arena. We have Wesley So, who just won the World Fisher Random Chess Championship. And he just defeated Magnus Carlsen, who's well known. He's actually the #1 chess player. So that's exciting.
This might be the type of win that would give Wesley a documentary of his own as well.
I know. And actually, he made a cameo in Magnus Carlsen's documentary. It's online. But yeah, he should get his own documentary.
Now, when you think about Wesley So achieving success, the first thought that comes to your mind is kind of sayang because he would have been considered a homegrown talent. Some might say that he still is, but currently he's obtaining his American citizenship. And the reason why he got to that point was because, as how he explained it himself, was that he didn't see the route to developing as a proper chess champion or player by staying here in the Philippines. He went deep into that in numerous interviews, and of course, Philippine sports, it's passionate, it's beautiful in its own way, it's incredible to watch, but the inner workings sometimes could hinder the development and the progress of some of our local athletes. And this happened to be one of those cases, unfortunately for us, but fortunately for Wesley So, it seems like the sky's the limit for him. And even if technically he might not be a Filipino citizen, so-and-so, I think that Filipinas can still marvel at his accomplishments because he is one of the countries in the end of the day.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess this is a recurring theme, I guess, which we don't want it to be a recurring theme in the show. But we always talk about how, our homegrown talents need to be supported. And so yeah, it's unfortunate when politics gets in the way of, homegrown talents achieving and representing our country.
Right.
So, hopefully it's something that we learn from. And more than the politics, maybe it's just also the support. And I know you were mentioning something, like we were talking about this off cam, about how chess isn't something that is really developed here in the Philippines. And it's not really, there was a joke back in high school, I guess. We had a chess team and they were like, are you guys really a sports team? Do you do conditioning? Strength and conditioning? But it's a joke, but come on,
and it's something that they don't like to hear. I had a classmate who was a chess athlete when I was in college, and she told me how she feels it's unfair that people see athletes from other sports as athletes and them as chess players. They are athletes as well.
Yeah, they're there's a stigma that they're mathletes or something. But I mean, it's amazing once you get to watch how they are and obviously the strategy involved. It's amazing, and I hope that other chess players in the Philippines get the same amount of support and recognition that look what Wesley achieved too.
And the same goes for other athletes of other sports that's not some of the popular sports or the big sports, especially with the SEA Games coming up. I think it's going to provide a look into the development of Filipino athletes, not just with the big sports or the most exciting sports, but also the other sports which also matter.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a good opportunity for people here in the Philippines who aren't so familiar with other sports.
Right.
Once they see the SEA Games and all of the sports that Filipinos have to offer and can excel in, then they'll realize that there are a lot more sports to support and to watch. And speaking of the SEA Games coming up, we have basketball also. We have Coach Tim Cohn leading the SEA Games Gilas team. And we have Kiefer Ravenna replacing Jason Castro in their team.
Yeah. Another goal for Kiefer would be his fifth consecutive in the SEA Games, which is remarkable when you think about it, having that continuous success internationally. Kiefer is a great addition, so far early in the latest PBA conference, we're seeing him go back to that all-star-like form that he was before his suspension. He's playing like the player that many anticipated he would be. And it would be nice to see how he fits in Cohn's system for Gilas, because as Tim Cohn said, he doesn't like the boys playing like they're a bunch of stars. They have to play like a team. That's always one of the challenges when you put together a national team. You're getting the best of the best, but because you're getting the best of the best, you're getting guys who are used to being stars. How they come together, how they work, that's what's going to be critical. And with Coach Tim leading the way, I think that they're going to succeed.
Yeah, I believe so too. And in volleyball also, our volleyball teams are training in Japan. Actually, the women's volleyball team are back,
right,
but the men's volleyball team are training in Japan. And also, Carlos Yulo is also training in Japan.
Yeah.
So, we always say that we wish that our homegrowns would train here, but then again, I think it would be good preparation also. They will be playing here for the SEA Games, so it's exciting, a little bit of suspense to see their preparations. Yeah.
And the volleyball team too, that's going to be very fun to watch because they haven't finished with a podium standing in the past SEA Games, and volleyball is always competitive when it comes to this tournament. You have Thailand, Vietnam's always a threat as well. But I like the roster construction that we have. I'm excited to see how they do. And, to be honest with you, a part of me is more excited to watch how the women's volleyball team is going to do, even more than what the men's basketball team is going to do this tournament.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing to take into consideration is their preparation for this. They played in the Grand Prix in Thailand.
Right.
And they did very well. Actually, they finished third. So, although they weren't able to have a podium finish in the past in the SEA Games, but, that's something that's interesting. And
Right.
maybe, we'll see that play into effect in everything.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
And speaking of volleyball, in our local league, the PVL, we have Creamline going for a sweep against Petrogas.
Another interesting thing that's happening in our local league is that both the NCAA and UAAP basketball tournaments, because the top-seeded teams, San Beda and Ateneo respectively, went undefeated in their elimination rounds, we have stepladder formats instead of the usual Final Fours. In the NCAA, we already have one winner. We have Letran beating San Sebastian. They're gonna face Lyceum next. And then in the UAAP, of course, the UST Growling Tigers, our dark horse to start the year, the team we were very high on, defeated FEU. Unfortunately for the Tamaraws, they showed up in the second half na. They didn't really play well in the first half. But because of that, we are going to have an incredible matchup between UST and UP starting this weekend.
Yeah. And I think as basketball fans, if I had to choose between UST or FE to go against UP, I'd pick UST. Not as a UP fan, just a basketball fan, because I want to see how entertaining and how close they are. Because I think you would say UST this season for UP is like UP's contrapelo.
Right, yeah.
A lot of people are scared of UST.
And for good reason.
Yeah.
That's interesting too. When I watch UST, I feel like they're a team that can beat anyone, and that includes Ateneo. But I feel like they're also a team that can find themselves in trouble against anyone. That's why you saw them having a hard time defeat teams like LaSalle and Adamson in the elimination round, and that's because they rely a lot on their three-pointers.
Yeah.
But if that's going in, like it was in the first half against FEU, UST's legit. They're amazing. Those three-pointers don't go in, like they did also against FEU in the second half, then the other team can kind of go on a run.
And not to mention they have the MVP, Chabio, our favorite name.
Exactly. He has 2 awards in my book. MVP, best name in the UAAP. And also Mark Nonoy,
Yes,
Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. So, the UP-UST game, there's a lot of parallels of sort to last year's series against Adamson because like Adamson, UST beat UP twice in the elimination round. Only this time, it's UP that has the twice to beat advantage, and it's UST that's coming kind of with momentum and coming for the upset. And when you add the crowds of both teams, UST, UP, the cheering, the passion, the trash talking, that's always amazing to hear, especially from the older fans. And, the constant criticism of the referees, always, it just makes for amazing TV.
Trash talking, I think he's part of that.
Come on. When I'm off duty,
Come on.
maybe.
But yeah, that's definitely exciting. But another thing, you were right about the deja vu effect with UST and UP and UP and Adamson last year. I think, what's scary is that UP has a twice to beat advantage. Unlike in NCAA, they don't have that. But does that matter with USC? Because USC beat them twice. So, they can do that again.
Yeah, it actually matters, and it's great for UP because I think that, okay, if we're going to give our predictions right now, I'm going to say UP in 2 games. I think UST might take game 1, and then UP wins a close game in game 2. But of course, anything can happen in the UAAP. But again, that's also a result of the hard work you put in the elimination round. The UP, they didn't win a lot of games convincingly, pero they still won a lot of close games, and because of that, they have the twice to beat advantage. However, UST is a very dangerous opponent.
Yeah. And I was talking to my source, Paul. I was just talking
Insider.
an insider source. Well, I was just asking, as a player, right? Do you prefer, for example, if you were still playing the season, would you prefer the step ladder? Would you prefer, what's the ideal situation for UP to be in?
Correct.
And he was saying, it's nice that because Ateneo has a long break to rest.
Yeah.
And that's something that was a problem for UP last year when they went against Ateneo, was that they did come with momentum, but they also came from a lot of games, sunod, right? And then really, not easy teams to beat. So what happened was at the end of everything, of course they won, they emerged victorious, but also tired, and the fatigue was there. And with UP now, with the step ladder, they have a little bit of time to rest. But in that time, you can also overthink.
That's
you can
true.
maybe relax. UP's hoping that Ateneo might be, more relaxed this time. Hoping. And, this time, UP can take the time to rest and really just hopefully beat UST.
I think if Tab Baldwin's your coach, relaxing might not be an option during practices. I get your point though. UST, at first I have to mention I like the way Renzo Subido's playing. You can see that throughout the game he kind of tries to get things started by taking attempts in the first quarter, then he plays chill, or he tries to set up his teammates, and then later on in the fourth quarter when they need a shot, he takes command, which is what a veteran is supposed to do. They're gonna be key matchups. I like the Javi versus Sherwin Concepcion matchup this weekend, and I'm very interested to see Chabio versus Bright, the last 2 UAP MVPs, going at it.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to make blockbuster basketball.
Yeah, for sure. But I have a question. What do you think UST's advantage is over UP?
I think UST is a better 3-point shooting team, and basketball, sometimes we like to make it complicated. We say, walang heart, walang ganyan. But sometimes basketball comes down to who can make shots. Sometimes it's your lucky day, sometimes it's your not. If UST is having a lucky day, everyone else is unlucky.
Yeah, for
Pretty
sure.
much. But if UP can kind of slow down the game, make it physical, make it an inside game, win the rebounding battle, then I think they have a very good chance of making the finals.
Yeah. That's true.
Wait, how about you? What's your prediction?
Well, you know what? Okay, you were talking about not to complicate things, but I guess, it's just the horoscope-loving person in me that I'm overthinking it, and I'm thinking, what's their mindset? What are their horoscopes? You know what I mean? But I think it's just my superstitious side, but I'm just thinking, I think UP has a lot. We've been waiting for UP to really peak.
Right.
And I feel I don't think it's peaking yet. And I hope that this game could, be the perfect and the knockout game that UP really deserves to have, which they haven't, shown yet.
So you're saying that they can have their best game, apparently?
Yeah, maybe, because I feel it's building up to that. The pressure and everything. It's close games, and come on, give us this UP.
Yeah, well, who's always speaking?
Who?
Ateneo.
Oh, that's true. Their peak is their normal.
Alright.
And that's it for the sports news for today. Catch us before the UAAP finals, where Naveen will be bringing a thesaurus to describe good adjectives for Ateneo
because I've run out. And that
is a wrap.